Good evening, everyone. Prep and Mama here. How is everyone doing tonight? I always have excuses, don't I, guys? It has been a really rough couple weeks. I have been having health issues, and my daughter, who has Rett syndrome, has been displaying new symptoms, and we've always been appreciative that she hasn't had the medical issues that a lot of kids with Rett syndrome have, because she has atypical Rett syndrome, and I don't even know if you guys even want to hear about this, but she's starting to have some of that stuff, and it's been freaking us out and freaking the other kids out, and it's just been hard. It's been hard to get her to sleep at night and just different things. So I'm kind of worn down, and I've missed filming a lot, but it's just gone on the back burner because I've needed to take care of my kid and myself. I've been struggling myself for some time. So I wanted to talk to you guys tonight about scenario 2, which is the scenario I learned, we went over in our Prep U course here in my county. Now, just as a reminder, I live in the Pacific Northwest, so the number one thing that I prep for is Cascadia, and that's basically the earthquake that we're pretty sure is coming off our coast of Oregon and Washington, so in Northern California. So scenario 2 is Cascadia at home. And I'm telling you guys, if you want to know how not prepped you are, take a Prep U course. I realized before I went in that I had shortfalls, but this really zeroed in on them a lot. And I know that once we get past the initial garbage, I can live for a year on my preps, but that's not really the point. You have to get through the initial garbage, and that's an issue. So I'm going to tell you about scenario 2 and just kind of talk to you about how what a failure I am at being prepared for this. And then you can comment about how you would handle something like this. Some of you don't live in earthquake territory, although, gosh, it seems to me like a lot of places are earthquake territory these days. But maybe you can talk to me about what you would do, and we can throw around ideas. I know there's things I'm supposed to do, and I'll talk about those in a minute, but let's read the scenario. It's called Cascadia at home. You are at home when the big one hits. The 9.2 Cascadia earthquake has finally happened. The ground shakes for 5 minutes. Okay, you guys, this is huge. 5 minutes of shaking is not what any of us have ever experienced before, and the devastation that it will result, I don't know that anyone living has ever seen. Well, at least not in the United States. 5 minutes of shaking is serious business. The ground is moving so violently that you cannot easily get to a safer spot. You have sustained minor injuries. Several windows in the house are broken, and the house has moved off its foundation, and broken glass and fallen objects cover the floor. The doors are jammed shut. The pipes and water lines in your home are broken, and you can smell gas and hear water gushing. That's a lot of stuff. Okay, guys. Things to consider. Number 1, do you have a plan for this type of event? Well, I thought I did, but really I didn't. 2, do you have bookshelves and freestanding cabinets secured to the wall? I do not have those secured to the wall. That's pretty bad. I need to have that done. 3, do you have a designated meeting place if your home is too severely damaged to enter safely? Yes, we do have that. We have a designated meeting place for our older kids and us. 4, if your home is uninhabitable, do you have the supplies to seal up the broken window? Yes, we have all kinds of supplies laying around this joint. 5, do you keep shoes under the edge of your bed and protective eyewear, gloves, and a flashlight in your nightstand should the quake occur during the night? No, we don't. We actually don't even wear shoes in our home. All of our shoes are in our mudroom. Some of us have flashlights near our beds, but we definitely do not have protective eyewear and gloves. So that's something to think about. 6, do you have water for at least 2 weeks? Not anymore. My husband found my glass jars of water, and they were in the shed that kind of went, and I think they were moldy or something, and he was just like, I don't want to deal with this, I'm getting rid of it all. So I have 3 water barrels that need to be cleaned and filled. They are not yet cleaned and filled. So no, I don't have water for 2 weeks right now. I have 3 wells, but none of them have hand pumps on them. So yeah. All right. 7, do you have emergency lighting that turns on when the power goes out? Well, we are wired for a generator, but we do not yet have one. And we have LED lanterns and flashlights, but we don't have like emergency lighting that comes on automatically now. Do you have 2 weeks worth of food for those who will likely be at your home, not just those living there? Yes, I always got the food, people. 9, do you know how to shut off gas and water to your home? Well, my husband does, and I asked him to show me. He has yet to do that. I'm pretty sure I know how to shut off the water in the well house, but the gas is another story. I think I need a tool for that. 10, do you know your neighbors? Would any of them need your assistance? Yes, we know our neighbors, and yes, they would need our assistance. We have senior citizen neighbors. 11, what are some other tools or supplies you might want on hand in this event? A lot. The thing is, we have a lot of stuff, but is it all organized? No, it's not all organized. And the thing is, we have multiple buildings, and we're still getting used to having multiple buildings and where to keep what. We're still getting organized, people. It's a long haul when you work full time. It's just, you know, you get it done as you can, right? But it's one of those things. 12, have you worked with your neighbors to develop a plan for neighborhood welfare checks, sharing of supplies, and skills? No, but I would really like to do that. I just want to be a little more organized before I approach them. But yes, in fact, I have a neighbor that I'm almost positive is also a prepper. I'm just trying to think of the best way to approach that. And my husband's like, oh, I'll just ask him. And I said, I'd love to meet him. So the secondary disasters due to earthquakes that we have to think about, and a lot of people don't. They think about the earthquake and that's it. But immediately we have to think about tsunamis. We have to think about liquefaction of sediments. So in an earthquake, there can be liquefaction underneath the ground, and in places where we keep our fuel, there's like one major place in Oregon that the fuel is kept. Apparently that is probably going to liquefy underneath, and it's gonna, and we're not gonna have fuel. Fires, I mean, you know what? It wasn't the earthquake that destroyed San Francisco in 1906. It was the fires that ensued. Landslides, flooding, okay? If the earthquake is bad enough, our local dam can flood, it can break, and the water from there can be here within 7 to 10 hours. Power outages, so that's a given. We're expecting that for sure. And of course, financial disturbance. So not only personal financial disturbance, but in an earthquake that large, we will not have trucks coming in because everything to get here has bridges. And almost none of the bridges in our state are prepared for this. Definitely not our local bridges. We have one bridge that we could walk across probably that should make it. They expect, and that's it. So not only will our personal financial, there will be a disturbance in your personal finances, but there won't be any trucks bringing food in, and it's going to be a problem, and it's going to cause major problems for people who are not prepared. They're going to cause major problems. Then we have this little plan sheet here, and it talks about some of the things that you need to consider, like disabled people, medical conditions, animals, elderly, etc. And I have almost all of the special considerations. We have people with medical conditions, we have disabled people, we have animals, we have small children. So I have to think about all these things, and it's somewhat overwhelming. So the things that we would need to patch up the windows is plywood, and we do have that. Plastic sheeting to seal off potentially exposed rooms. We do have that. Whether we have it on site or on another property is something to ask my husband. A water filtration system. We do have that. So if we can get the water, we have a Berkey. And a source of heat. Well, we have multiple sources of heat. So we're good to go there. A communication plan. We have one, but it needs to be better for sure. Working with neighbors, that hasn't happened yet. I would like to do that. And then we're supposed to have all these documents filled out, which basically they gave us all this stuff to fill out it's a family disaster plan, and I haven't done it yet, but it goes through all of the stuff that you're gonna need in a disaster, and then basically you can just grab this binder and go, and it has all of your family information, insurance information, and so on and so forth in it. So that's part of what, so that's part of what I'm supposed to work on through this course. But anyway, I just wanted to talk to you guys about scenario 2 and tell you that I'm not prepared. I'm not prepared for that at all. Yeah, I mean, I am a little bit, but not all the way. Sorry, I got distracted. So, you know, I'm here and I'm showing you what I do, but that doesn't mean I'm a professional prepper. I'm just someone who is like you, working on it and trying to work and do a little bit every day, right? It's a little bit every day. So that was scenario 2. I kind of wanted to do a video showing you what I got my guys for Christmas, but I just haven't had the opportunity, and they're floating around in here, so there's just no way that's gonna happen. I might do a recap afterwards so you can think about gifts for birthdays and such, but anyway, and then I also wanted to tell you that I am hosting a local fire starting workshop here in January. And I invited like families, and I'm kind of excited about that. So it's just, we're gonna talk about different ways to start fires, and then we're gonna start some. So I'm kind of excited about that. I just said, let's do this, it'll be fun. And my husband goes, yeah, let's do this, it'll be fun. It's always nice when you're married to someone who thinks things are fun too. Anyway, well, thanks for joining me tonight, you guys. This is Preppin' Mama, and I talk about all things preparedness from a standpoint of a mom with children with special needs and health issues and all kinds of interesting things going on here. So if you're interested in those types of things, I'd love it if you would subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. Thanks for joining me tonight. Preppin' Mama out.